Roger, go for deploy.
Hey guys, welcome to AdventureFit Radio, your favorite podcast exploring fitness, adventure, and life. I'm Doc, I'll be your host. I've got a couple of co-hosts that you'll get introduced to when the episode starts. But we'd like to welcome you to our first episode, which will be an episode with Ed Morrison. Ed Morrison is an expat Australian living in China at the moment, coaching CrossFit under the Norcal CrossFit banner at a corporate affiliate there. And he's also part of the HQ seminar staff. So what that means is, when you're a CrossFitter and you would like to become a CrossFit coach, you'll need to do your CrossFit Level 1 seminar. Ed takes those seminars. So he's at the very upper echelon when it comes to coaching. He's at the very upper echelon when it comes to the theory. And he's at the very upper echelon when it comes to the back end of CrossFit HQ and what goes on there. So this is a great conversation with Ed about the good, the bad, and the ugly of CrossFit. Ed probably won't like me saying that, but that's how I'm going to frame it. Ed does a fantastic job to fly the flag for CrossFit HQ while myself and the other guys pepper him with questions about what's great about CrossFit, what's not so great, and what can be improved, and what we think will happen in the future. So that's our episode. I hope you like it. But before we move on to that episode, I'm just going to go through the list of people that helped us out with our Kickstarter campaign. So for those of you guys that aren't aware, I run a business, a startup at the moment, AdventureFit Travel, the parent company of this podcast. Mac, my co-host, also runs a business. Tommy is a young guy. He's studying. So we needed a Kickstarter. We needed to fund this podcast to get it off the ground, and we got a lot of help from a lot of people. So without the guys that did chip in and bought advertisements or bought some clothing through us, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to give you this content. So I'm going to go through a list of these guys, and I'm going to thank them individually, and please bear with me while I do that. And then on the other end of that, we'll go through our major sponsors, and then we'll be into the show. So the list of guys and girls that I'd like to thank are my father, Rick Kerr, David Krause, Shane Zunkel. Shane is one of our adventure fitters from the US last year. Thanks, Shane. Jackson Rundle, Max Little or Big Brother, one of the two. Andrew is Andrew. There's no second name there. Thanks, Andrew. Harrow Corez, a.k.a. my mate Corza. Good on you, Corey. Thanks a lot, brother. Claudia Ahern. This is either Tom's mum or Tom's auntie. I'm not sure which one. Belinda Waters. Thanks, Belinda, for the pledge. Ben, again, Ben Wilson, that is. Thanks, Ben. Kicking in some cash for the boys. Mark Paganoni and Atlanta Fruit Sales. That's my Uncle Mark. Good on you, Uncle Mark. He's also a big sponsor for the show. Dr. Benjamin Raphael from Carlton North Family Chiropractic. Good on you, Benny. Lisa Billings. Also, we have Denise Billings, sister of Lisa. Thanks, guys, for getting behind the show. Sean Williamson, another AdventureFit traveller. He was also on our US trip last year. Sean is a champion, so thanks again, Sean, for chipping in and helping us out. Jeremy Fultham. That's spelled Fultheim. Jeremy, if I've spelt your name wrong, I'm really sorry, brother. Jeremy Fultham, I'm going to say. Thanks for your pledge, Jeremy. Dan Wern. Culture Amp, he once shouted out on the show. Don't know what that is, but Culture Amp and Dan Wern, thanks for the pledge. Next, we've got my Uncle Ben, Brent Kerr. Thanks, Uncle Ben. Palmer Ragno, thanks, Palmer, for your for your pledge and chipping in. Another USA adventure fitter, Cameron Kuzimko. Thanks, Cam. You're a legend. Love you always. Stephen Huybens. Stephen Huybens and Loxam Solutions is a major sponsor of the show that chipped in big time for us with some advert sponsorship for our first 12 episodes of the show. So a huge thanks to Stephen. Kylie Rogers is next from Elite Dance Studios. Thanks, Kylie. Appreciate you chipping in for us. Paula Williamson. Thank you, Paula. Mitchell. That's Mitch Burton from CrossFit Active Kincumber, who was a guy who's he's a lovely guy. He's a rep of AdventureFit Travel from Sydney. Him and his girlfriend Erin. So a huge thanks to those guys that actually chipped in of their own accord for some ad sponsorships for their gym, which they didn't really need to, but it's awesome that they did. So thanks, Mitch. Steph Callis is next on the thank you list. She's asked that we shout out Ashton Kutcher as the name or business that she wants shout out on the show. So shout out to you, Ashton. Simon Longton, thank you, sir, for your pledge. Then we have Janet Archibald. So she says, nah, forget the business plug, but if you could say this for me, remove ugly past experiences from your now and replace it with adventure and live that adventure like there's no tomorrow. So, yeah, thanks, Janet, and thanks for the little bit of wisdom in there. Awesome, and yeah, thanks again for the pledge. Robert Strongman, thank you, brother. Just Strongy, he says. Call me Strongy. Gillian Cridlin, my new girlfriend. Thanks, JC. Love you lots. Donna from CrossFit Diamond Valley. She's another pledger. Andrew Morris. Thanks, brother. Andrew wants to see Callum Von Mogger on this show, so he must be a bodybuilder himself. Andrew, good stuff. Next we have James Andrews. Thanks, James. Deanna Blegg. She's one of our first people we've interviewed on the show. It's going to be a great podcast. So thanks, Deanna. And Deanna's at Blegfit as well. She wants to shout out Blegfit, her company. Tom Johnson from CrossFit Active Kincumber. So that's my mate Mitch's CrossFit gym again. Thanks, Tom. You're a legend, man. Peter Shepherd he's written Peter Shepherd or at Blue Ball Relief. So I don't know whether that's a real handle there or whether he's just trying to fuck me over. But anyway, thanks, Peter, at Blue Ball Relief. And next, we've got Maxine from CrossFit Diamond Valley again. She wants to shout out Diamond Valley. That's Max Gym. Awesome stuff. Josh Roman, thanks, brother. Thanks for getting behind us. Karen Marshall, another pledger. Alan Fielding. Alan is a Kiwi guy who stayed with me for a couple of weeks, 2 months ago or so, and he is now a brother of mine. So big shout out to Al. He's a huge podcast listener, and he's pumped for us. So good on you, Al. Thanks for getting behind us, brother. James Anderson is next. James, thank you, sir. Love your work. Bianca Jewell from Jewell Kinesiology. She's another pledger. Simon Holloway. Simon is a great friend of mine. FiberStream Optic Fiber Networks is Simon's business. He's currently living up in Sydney. He has branches in Sydney and Melbourne. So ever need any optic fiber networks, Simon Holloway's your man at FiberStream. So thanks, Simon. Adam Hackney. Adam is from Shopnate. He is an absolute legend. He's a marketing guru, and he's been a huge help to AdventureFit along the way. So he should get all these goodies and rewards for free because he's helped me so much. But he's pledged along to help the podcast again. So Adam, thanks so much, man. Fint. He wants to be known as Hey fucking Fint. That's what he wants us to shout out on the show. So that's what we got to shout out. Fint, another $100 pledge. Good on you, man. Love your work. Stanko Peric, he is partner in crime with Adam Hackney from 2 shout-outs ago. Stanks, good on you, son. James Daniel. James actually did our logo for AdventureFit Radio. He won the AdventureFit Radio logo competition, and he's from Graphic Image Science, so he's a really good guy, and super stoked that he's been part of AdventureFit. Christina Hearn, that's one of Tommy's... Oh, this is Tommy's auntie. So Claudia was Tommy's mum, and Auntie Christine. Thank you so much, Auntie Christine. Hopefully you'll enjoy the shows that we got coming up. Your nephew's doing a great job. Jason Olorenshaw is next. Thanks, Jace. Lisa King, thank you very much. Jack Kerr, that's my bro. Brotown, I love you, mate. Thanks for pledging. Thanks a lot. Beta, Marcus Bate. So, that's another pledger, another friend of mine. He's got behind us with $75. Love you, Beta. Lee Scanlon from All Emergency Service Personnel. Good on you, Leroy. $50 pledge. You are a champion just like everybody else. Ed Morrison, another guest on our show. Ed will be our first guest, actually. Episode number 1. Ed, thanks for pledging. $25. Thought we were better friends than that. Thanks again, but maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Sean Marsh, he's our audio guy. He's done our jingles and our intro. Marshy's a good friend of mine from Quash Creative. Good on you, Marshy. Really do appreciate it again, son. David Ahern, Tommy's father, has also pledged. And then a few more that I'll rattle through. Tim Norton, Thank you, Tim. $25 pledge. All of it helps. Corey just went by the name of Corey for a $5 pledge. Again, all these little bits and pieces really help us out. Stephen Ross, adventure fitter from Everest Base Camp and a really dirty storyteller. Good stuff, Rossi. No Days Off Supplements, one of our major sponsors. Thanks to you guys. Diane Kerr, my beautiful mum. Thanks, mum. Tony Payne, $50. Thank you, sir. Mark Carswell, another friend of mine from long ago. Mac Rundle tipped in some money himself. Don't tell Kickstarter. I think that's against the rules. Terry Jacobs for $100. And Sim, whoever that is. Sim, S-I-M. Thank you so much, Sim. $250 pledge and didn't even ask for any of the rewards and the gear. Thanks for bearing with us, guys. And yeah, thanks to everyone that pledged. And that's everybody. So again, thanks so much to everybody that did get behind us. Like I said, we wouldn't be in this position without you guys. So, on to our sponsors for this episode, though. Our first sponsor will be Atlanta Orchards. Atlanta Orchards is an apple orchard that's owned by my uncle. It was also where my mother grew up, my auntie grew up, my uncle grew up. Also, my grandfather and his father before him. It's a family business. So, Atlanta Orchards would like to let you guys know about their Kanzi and Green Star apples, which have been trialled in Australia for years and are now in commercial production. Both were bred in Belgium and are now growing across the country, including in Victoria. Green Stars, the first 100% non-browning apples, are a cross between a Granny Smith and a Delbar Estivale apple. That's quite a tongue twister. The apples are green, sweet, juicy, and have a thin skin and the highest vitamin C content of any apple, which helps keep them naturally white for days after cutting. The Kanzi apple is the number one apple sold in Europe and is bright red and crunchy with a long shelf life, a cross between a Gala and a Braeburn apple. So, ask for Atlanta Kanzi and Green Star apples in your local greengrocers Victoria-wide. Thanks, Atlanta Orchards. Thanks, Uncle Mark. Loxam Solutions. Thanks, Loxam Solutions, for sponsoring the podcast. Loxam Solutions is a boutique consulting and business support company focusing on business consulting and commercial services. The key to their success has been through the application of a pragmatic approach combined with entrepreneurial spirit to achieve their clients' outcomes. Their philosophy is simple, guys. Deliver well-defined, measurable business outcomes to their clients through the engagement of subject matter experts with real-world experience. Their services include business costings, business consulting, business structures, startup advice, business plan development, review and adaptation, organizational review and restructure, operational review and restructure, governance, corporate and operational, coaching, mentoring, project management, financial management. They do it all. So if you want to build your business better, build it at Loxam Solutions, www.loxamsolutions.com.au. And we'd also like to thank No Days Off Supplements, NDO Sups, for getting behind the podcast. No Days Off is a newly formed company that aspires to build a trusted brand by having honest, integral, loyal support to their customers as the cornerstones of their relationships going forward. From suppliers to customers to sponsored athletes and individuals, they'll work hard to ensure all receive the utmost attention and support, and that harmonious relationships and mutually beneficial outcomes are achieved by all. The company was formed with the vision of offering great products and sound information that will benefit its customers and the community at large. No Days Off Supplements for all your supplement needs. Mac uses No Days Off Supplements and raves about them. So if you guys want to go on ndosups.com, then you'll find their list of products there. And if you want to purchase anything, use AdventureFit Radio in the checkout and you'll receive 10% off. And lastly, this podcast is brought to you by AdventureFit Travel. AdventureFit Travel is a fitness... I always have trouble with my own ad. AdventureFit Travel is an adventure travel company for the fitness community. So basically what we do, guys, is I plan a cool adventure itinerary, action-packed. Then what we do, we'll take everyone over there, we'll train throughout, we'll get high-level guests as whether they be coaches or athletes. In particular, we've got 7 days left selling our Bali trip where I'm flying over Dmitry Klokov, who's a world champion weightlifter, for a 2-day weightlifting seminar. Along the way, we'll whitewater raft, we dive with sea turtles, we'll surf, we'll do yoga every morning, Indonesian cooking class. Lots of adventuring around Bali and the Gili Islands, and it's going to be a great time. So we've got lots of trips planned. Head to www.adventurefittravel.com to check them out. And yeah, that's it for us. So that's all I have to say. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. And I'd like to introduce you guys now to our first guest, Mr. Ed Morrison. Alrighty, here we are, guys. Welcome to AdventureFit Radio. We're sitting with Ed Morrison from CrossFit HQ. He's recently been living over in China. I've got Mac to my left and Tommy on my right. Tommy's prepared a little serenade for Ed, so let's let him start us off.
I just want to say that the best thing about this is Ed is very nervous about it. Look me right in the eye.
I've never had anyone sing to me, so it's just...
Let alone a bloke.
It's confronting for sure.
All right. This is a song I prepared, and it goes a little something like this. I'm going to look straight at it.
This is really awkward.
Ed, he has a big head, and the majority of his body is red. That doesn't mean that he ain't a devil in bed. Not that I would know. He's a level 3 coach who doesn't like his eggs poached. He's a NorCal man who could really use a tan. No, he doesn't drive a van, and he looks like Fireman Sam. But most of all, apart from being tall, he's a mate. A really close mate. A really close mate. And he loves to do CrossFit.
Yeah! That was sick.
All right. Can I go now?
You can put your clothes back on.
Nah, keep them off.
Oh, boy.
Alrighty.
It's a good start.
So you've been in China, Ed. Tell us
have,
about that. What have you been doing over there?
Mate, I've been doing some coaching with a corporate gym that Norcal CrossFit operate. And, yeah, China is a very, very unique place. I've done a bit of travel, but I've never experienced anything like China. That's for sure.
You mean weird, right? You mean unique, you mean weird?
Yeah, part of it is plain weird. Yep, absolutely.
Go, hit us up with your weirdest story. Go.
I'd just say that people just don't quite join the dots in terms of just sort of conversation that you might have. Like, I remember my assistant trainer, at one point I told him a story which was sort of rude but sort of funny, and he laughed his head off. And then he helped me. You
like that one, Tommy?
I thought it was all right. Is that the punchline?
Yeah. Calm yourself down, bro.
Sorry.
So I thought it would be a good idea to connect with the group by telling the story to the group.
Yeah.
But I needed him to translate it. So I'm like, I'll tell it at lunch. Get him to translate the story. Gets to the end of the story, and I'm like, hey, man, no one's laughing. And he goes, yeah, you shouldn't have told that. That was super offensive. So he knew exactly where I was going with it and just took me there anyway. And then I couldn't explain to him. It's like, well, give us some warning next time.
You can't do punchlines in another language.
That's right.
I don't think that's going to work.
It's delayed 10 seconds.
That's right.
I don't think China's greatest stand-up comedian would make me laugh with the translator.
That's right. Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
I mean, the funniest thing is just me getting the Mandarin wrong, and that's about all they laugh at. Like, none of my humour translates whatsoever.
No.
Yeah, you're not really a funny bloke.
No, I'm not.
Funny looking, of course.
So what's it like then with the translator? So you're up there and you're like, right, and then you have to say one sentence and wait, and then you go again. And
Yep. There's times when you would use the translator and get absolute one-for-one. So something like briefing a workout, absolutely use it one-for-one. But when I'm coaching, like sort of rapid fire in the middle of a workout, I've developed a fair bit of Mandarin because, as you guys know, like, for example, someone cleans it and they're about to jerk it, like, you cannot have that translation. Like, it's just too quick. So
you probably only need one word a lot of time. Fast.
That's
quick,
right.
More.
Exactly, yep. And tone is like being expressive in your coaching. I've probably learned how important that is.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been too difficult, to be honest. Yep.
so do you have your assistant walking around with you, shadowing you pretty much? You got to...
Yeah, he does walk with me sometimes. Like, there's times where I'm like, hey, I need you by my side.
Yeah.
Like, you have to stay with me because I cannot make this happen by myself. And then there's other times where I know I'm sweet and he can go do his own thing while I'm coaching. So
Yeah.
it works out pretty well.
And is it, how long did it take you to work out the relationship between you and him? Because obviously you guys have to bond pretty well.
Yeah, that's right. Look, it's an interesting one. And one thing that should be known is that he speaks relatively good English, but on a day-to-day basis, his English can fluctuate massively. So we might be talking about a particular concept, and on one day he completely understands what I'm saying. Next day, same concept, and it's just completely over his head. And for that reason, you've just got to be willing to be pretty dynamic. So the relationship, at times, it's like, yep, we're working perfectly. Other times, it doesn't work at all.
There'd be a lot of Chinese whispers going on, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's
There'd be a lot of
yeah,
Chinese
that's right.
whispers.
Yeah.
So you're enjoying it over there,
Yeah, I am, mate.
personally? Is there many expats that are there with you in the gym that you've kind of got a bond with, or how's it working? How are you entertaining yourself?
Look, in the gym itself, no, there's no expats.
Right.
In Shenzhen, which is where I am, there's a good amount of sort of foreigners, but a lot of them are just European. A lot of Eastern Europeans, actually, like Russians and Ukrainians.
Yep.
I haven't actually bumped into one other Aussie in
Really?
Shenzhen. Yeah, it's
Right.
pretty barren like that. But I've been busy, and I don't know. Part of travel, I think, is like having some time to yourself, some time to reflect.
Yeah, for sure.
Not too much, otherwise you lose your mind.
Yeah.
But I've had a good amount of that, and I've been enjoying it. Yeah.
So you've been over there for how long? 6 months?
6 months now. Yeah.
And
How'd
you got
you-
another 6 or?
I'll be there for at least another 3 in China.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you land the gig?
I have somewhat of a relationship with Jason Kalipa, who owns Norcal. He used to work on seminar staff with me, and it just sort of went from there. And I knew there was an opportunity, and then I started speaking to him, and then it was never going to be China necessarily. It was just going to be working in one of those corporate sites, and then China was the one where he had an opportunity. So,
Cool.
yeah.
So is your job to coach, or is your job to educate the coaches as well? Is that what you're trying to achieve over there? Is that why they brung someone like yourself over?
Yeah, you're spot on with both of those. I'm
Yeah.
definitely doing like coaching every session, and now we're trying to develop some local coaches because they're sort of getting their level 1s, and we do have people who are qualified to now be coaches, but they just need some development. So
Yeah, you're not going to be around forever.
yeah, that's right. Like it's not possible to always be sending someone to China for that program. You need to have local coaches.
So you're doing the level 1s plus the coaching.
Yeah, I mean the great thing about being on seminar staff is the level 1s are held all around the world, and there's lots of level 1s being held in China. So there's a great opportunity for me to jump on them. So I've been doing a fair few since I moved there.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome.
So you've been on the seminar staff since... So anybody that's not a CrossFit that might be listening to this podcast, so Ed basically coaches the coaches. Is that how you would explain it? You go to do your level 1 seminar staff seminar, and Ed would be the guy that's running the show.
Yeah, the seminar staff put forward the level 1 material, which is sort of CrossFit's first baseline course, if you will, and to be able to coach at an affiliate or be a trainer at an affiliate or be able to get an affiliation, you have to have that qualification.
Yep.
Yep.
And so you've been doing that for, what would it be, 2.5 years now? Something like that?
Coming up on 3 actually.
Yep, coming up on 3 years. And what do you love about, I know you're pretty passionate about what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us why that is what you love about spreading CrossFit.
Spreading the Kool-Aid.
Throwing the Kool-Aid over everyone.
Look, there's a bunch of things that are pretty amazing about being on seminar staff, but probably the thing from a selfish point of view is that I am constantly still learning from the material. I've taught the material now probably 70 times. I've done about 70 seminars, and there's not a seminar that goes by where you either hear from one of the other trainers or just look at a particular concept in a different way, and you find that helps you become a better trainer still.
That's
So
great.
that's probably the thing that I didn't expect when I jumped onto seminar stuff that would happen, and it's been really, really cool. Yep.
Yeah, well, I found that when I moved to. For anyone that doesn't know, I coached maybe a year ago for about a year with Ed, and I found that when I moved to CrossFit Richmond.
Yep.
I went from a scenario where I was one of many relatively good coaches to a place where there was coaches better than me.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, I think you just learn heaps every day. You feel like you're getting free education.
That's right. Hey.
Because you're always trying to obviously better yourself as a coach. That's the name of the game. You want to always be learning.
I mean, the thing is, CrossFit encompasses so much that it would be impossible to feel like you know all the content.
For sure.
Even if you get as specific as, hey, like I don't know enough about powerlifting,
Yeah.
and then you can go launch yourself into that community.
You can spend 10 years and still be an amateur.
Exactly, and that's and if you have that view, I think you enjoy it a lot more as well.
So how long were you coaching for before I take it you applied, the send off for the HQ job?
Yeah, there's certain ways to apply. Actually, the way Bill and me were on the same level 2, and
Yes.
during the level 2, you sort of run segments or groups that are very similar to the level 1. So after that, there's an internship program, and that's what I went through.
Yeah,
Yep.
awesome.
So that was in 2012. Yep.
I'm not going to lie. I went back from the level 2 seminar staff and like, hey Ed, how you going, man? Keeping up on Facebook, seeing how he's going. And Ed told me, oh, did you hear I got invited to apply for the seminar staff gig? So I was just click and refresh in my mailbox for the next 6 months. Nothing came through. Fuck you, Ed.
I definitely didn't tone it like that. But yeah, I think I'll let you know. You and me became pretty good mates. Like, that was the first time we met, wasn't it?
It was good. We had a really hot, passionate, very short, intense love affair.
Well, and somehow I ended up...
Tell me about that.
I love redheads.
But the thing is, somehow I ended up driving him to the course every day. and I don't know how that happened. Like, you must have been like, oi, I need a lift. Like,
I was staying in a hostel.
Oh, well,
Remember you dropped me at the hostel every night?
did I?
I don't know. Did you? I was staying in a hostel, I remember.
Sounds like Bill needed a lift and you needed a mate.
But, you know, like, one of the cool things about doing those seminars is that, like, there are friendships built on those seminars that last forever. Like,
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
you know, I don't know if this is one of them. but for sure. Like,
No, I get you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I did the CrossFit gymnastics seminar a couple of years ago.
oh, yeah, that's great, isn't it?
It was literally, you can't get upside down, swing off bars, stand on your head with a bunch of grown-outs without feeling like an absolute goose. And it was, I got asked whether it was a good, whether it was good content, whether it was value for money, so on and so forth. And to both of those, I said yes, like it was quite a good course.
Yep.
But it was just fun.
Uh-huh.
It was just so much fun. And yeah, I agree. I think I really did enjoy doing all those extra seminars and workshops and stuff just to, you know, hang out,
Build
meet
some
people. And
relationships.
Yeah,
Oh,
pick
look,
up
I think
tips.
what you just said, you could probably apply that to all of CrossFit. Hey, it's like, yes, it gets you fitter, yes, it gets you stronger, but more than anything, it's just bloody good fun a lot of the time.
Yeah, I agree. So starting out in CrossFit, I think a lot of people, CrossFit's it's not at the point now where people are still asking what is CrossFit. I think the general populace kind of have a fair idea of what goes on.
Yeah, they certainly have a better idea.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think a lot of people are still very hesitant to take the plunge.
Yep.
It's very unknown to a lot of people.
Yep.
And a lot of people, I think it's untrue to say that it's a dangerous sport. They've done studies that all sports are dangerous, and CrossFit just falls in the same bracket with football and running and whatever.
Yep.
But to people that are wanting to start out, because I think there'd be heaps of people that we had a guy on a trip last year that came on an AdventureFit trip, last year, and he'd never CrossFitted before because he was too nervous.
Yep.
He'd watched it on YouTube, was his favourite thing, had all the T-shirts, dressed like you, CrossFit head to toe.
And he'd never done CrossFit.
He'd never done CrossFit. He did his first workout with Kenny Leverich at OC CrossFit last year with us on the first day, which was really cool.
Okay, cool.
But he didn't take the plunge because his name was Sean. He's a great guy.
Yep.
He didn't take the plunge because he was nervous.
Okay.
What would you say to people that are out there that are kind of in the same position?
Well, I mean, for somebody who's nervous, I think you just naturally ask why they're nervous. But I think a lot of people potentially are nervous about CrossFit because the thing that they see or they feel represents CrossFit are the CrossFit Games.
Yes.
And so they see the CrossFit Games and they see the level that those athletes are at. And then they think, oh, well, you know, if I walk into a CrossFit gym, like that, is that what I'm going to be asked to do? Or is that what I'm going to have to do to not feel like I'm not keeping up?
For sure.
And if you did that with any other sport, you'd feel exactly the same way. Like if you thought, oh, I'd like to go play some AFL, and then you went and watched, you know, the top dogs play AFL. You went to an AFL game. You'd probably be like, look, I can't handle the running in this. I can't handle the speed. So
I actually use that same analogy when people come into mine. They're like, oh, but it's so scary, and all these people are so big and buff. And I use the AFL analogy. You know, you go watch your under 11s. They've all got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. And I just think as soon as you understand that, you know, that level of CrossFit is different to what you'll be asked to do in your first fundamentals at a CrossFit affiliate, then all of a sudden you realise that you'll be fine.
What do you think? I actually think it's detriment to CrossFit itself to have CrossFit Games as its image. What's your opinion on the CrossFit Games, and is it healthy for CrossFit, or is it a detriment to it?
Look, the CrossFit Games provide an amazing amount of exposure for the affiliates in terms of people finding out what CrossFit is. And yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, we talked about, like, we don't have to explain what CrossFit is as much anymore. And I think a big part of that is the CrossFit Games. I think it's very, very important for CrossFit trainers and CrossFit clients and everyone involved in CrossFit to understand the difference between CrossFit as a sport and CrossFit as a fitness program for life.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that's one of the challenges that people will face in terms of making that distinction clear to the person who wants to try CrossFit. But I don't think it's a detriment only if there was confusion between those two things. Yeah.
I think it's touching back on both those 2 points that both you guys just spoke about. I think that the female side of it is put off more by the CrossFit Games because of the body types.
Yeah, right.
And I think you probably would have gone through situations where girls have come in and said, I don't want to look like these big, masculine, buff girls that you see in the CrossFit Games. Yep. And the truth of the matter is 95% of the population won't and cannot.
That's right.
They will not build a body like that because they're not genetic freaks.
Yep.
It's like saying, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to look like...
It's not just generic freaks, but it's hours of training a day. It's
That's
nutrition,
right. Yeah.
You know, your
That's
GPP,
right.
your 40-year-old,
But it's like me saying, I don't want to go and get in the gym because I don't want to look like...
the Great Carly.
Who?
Do you know the Great Carly?
No.
7 foot tall.
Yeah.
He's a
WWE
that's
wrestler.
it. Yeah. See, Mackin knows him.
Yeah.
Come on, mate.
Look,
Yeah, sorry, I'm not a WWE fan.
That's all right.
That's a really difficult one, and you have to
That's
judge.
all right.
You have to judge how you.
Very polite.
Jeez, Tommy, how did you get this kick?
I was walking past.
Look, the thing is, I mean, I'll be honest. I disagree with the premise in that I actually think the female CrossFit Games athletes still are quite attractive.
Oh, so do I.
I have no problem with their body image whatsoever. So, the first thing I would address is why is it that you're scared to look like that?
You know what? I think that CrossFit's done a great job to pick up female body image.
Absolutely.
And like the strong
The strong is sexy.
Strong is sexy. Strong over skinny kind of
Absolutely.
aspect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's probably the first port of call, and then the second port of call, what you were speaking about, Mac, which is that you're not going to do a few back squats and then tomorrow morning wake up and be not fit in the bed. Like, it just doesn't work like that. We all know how difficult it is to put on lean mass.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's just them not understanding the training
But it is.
process.
It's just an education, isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But I just came off the affiliate solution with Scott Wall from CrossFit Vic.
Yeah, cool.
And he said if every gym owner, affiliate owner, put out just one positive comment about either body image, about the technique and the actual coaching that goes into CrossFit, you would totally reverse the whole image that it has. Yet, we don't for some reason.
Explain that again.
He was saying, like, there's so many affiliates out there these days that if just we all put up just one positive comment, we would change the opinions of almost everyone.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean,
plus affiliates.
That's right. There's a lot of power in the affiliates, and I think in general the affiliates all do really good work on that type of stuff. Perhaps they don't jump on social media and as vocal about it externally as they could be. I mean, that's not a bad suggestion in Scott, but all the affiliates I've been at, when that conversation is had with a member, it's always done in the right tone. So I think everyone's on the same page. Just perhaps they're not as vocal about it as what Scott's suggesting they could be, which is not a bad idea, I guess.
Oh, he was just saying, like, there's always there's more negativity about, or there's more negativity on social media about CrossFit, and that we have the power to change that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's almost more negativity about anything on social media, which is
people just like to complain.
That's right. I almost feel like that sort of sells more than it does anything else. So people like to have a go at CrossFit wherever they can, and the only people celebrating CrossFit are the people involved in CrossFit who know all the good that it's done.
It just doesn't get the traction either, like you say.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Negative news sells newspapers.
Unfortunately,
yeah. So you've worked in China and you've worked at CrossFit Richmond for a long time, which is a very successful gym.
Yep.
I obviously with our listeners that are looking at this show, they're going to see Ed Morrison, CrossFit HQ. They're going to be very they're going to want to listen to this episode. I'm big on trying to figure out what certain people think is the more important parts of building a good community, because I think that's the most important. Obviously, programming is important. Keeping people fit and healthy is important in a gym scenario. Very, very important.
Yep.
But the community is something that will keep everyone coming back.
Yep, for sure.
Just I don't know. Just general thoughts on, if you were to start an affiliate, where would you set your guidelines for?
Geez, that's a good question. And starting up an affiliate it's a big task. Look, I honestly believe that the biggest contribution CrossFit has made to the fitness industry is its definition of fitness, which is work capacity across broad time and modal domains. Basically, your ability within your life, this is my own understanding of that definition or rewording it, to be able to go and do tasks, all different kinds of tasks that last for all different lengths, right? If you let that be your guiding tenet, then everything else falls into place. How do I let a bunch of people who want to come and see me to get better at life, to get better at work capacity, how do I achieve that for them? and then everything from there falls into place. That will let you know what your programming looks like. That will let you know what your trainer ratios will look like. That will let you know what equipment you think is important, because that is the ultimate goal. And then the community will be built, around everyone moving towards that goal.
Oof.
Geez, that's good.
What an answer.
I'm excited.
Fuck. I got another. He's got me.
Well, that was great.
Was that a good answer?
That was the answer.
Checkmate.
No, it was good. That was good.
Okay, good. Thanks.
How we,
Have we got any more?
how we
That's it.
how we doing? We want to throw over to Tommy for a bit, Mac? Or?
Let's do it. All right.
All right.
Jingle?
Well,
Good, the bad, the same.
The good, the bad, and the science is one of our favourite segments here on the show. A lot of listeners love it. Big mention to Steve Montgomery today, who's a big fan of the show.
He's back.
He's a long-time listener, hasn't called in yet. He's a made-up bloke. But if there's a Steve Montgomery out there, please call in. We need fans. So the good, the bad, the science. This is something that we like to do. It's something on news, something that's good, something that's bad, and it's a genuine bad. We like to have a bit of discussion about that. And then something sciencey.
That we pretend that we know everything about.
That's right.
Is the goal
It
here?
should be the
Is
good,
the
the
goal
bad,
here
the
to-
pseudoscience.
Is the goal here to guess which one goes to which, or
No, they're
That's not
yeah.
bad. That's not a bad
That's
one.
all right. That's pretty good. Do you want to stick around?
Nah, he just goes through them and lets us know.
That's right.
okay, we'll go on then.
So the good. This is a little story that I found on BBC Travel. When they were children living on opposite sides of the world, Christine Tin, as she's known, it's a bizarre nickname, Miguel, and Matt Mandino, I should have read this before, had something in common. They were afraid of flying. Growing up as one of 6 children in the Philippines, Tin would hold her sister's hand in a tight grip whenever they flew. In the US, Matt was so nervous boarding a plane that his parents had to drag him to the airport. I was afraid of heights too, says Matt. As they got older though, both were seized with a sense of wanderlust. Their desire to see the world outraged their initial fears, and eventually they not only conquered their fear of flying, but they made it their careers and eventually met and fell in love. Now my question to you, Eduardos, is who was your first relationship? And is there still potential for a long-lasting
What? What a segue.
Do I actually have to answer that question?
Yep.
You certainly can. Moving on.
Well, does a 4-day relationship count?
No.
Okay.
It does. It surely does. If there was love involved.
Well, I was in year 8.
It's good.
I was.
Was she in year 8?
So there was hand jobs involved.
Her name was Nat. Went out for 4 days, and then she gave me the boot. that was
Story
about it.
of my life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I've never been in a relationship since. No, I'm kidding.
What was? Why'd you give you the boot?
I don't know.
Wait, have you seen it?
Did you say what grade was this?
I was in year 8.
This would have been around the time that you were 3rd league best and fairest in the Q Under-14s junior football
That
side,
is
right?
correct.
So
I
you
was
would have been the
very-
quarterback of the.
I was
quarterback
very
of the,
handy.
Right.
Yeah.
Was she the head cheerleader and she just had enough of you?
Yeah, potentially.
Or was she the ruck rover and not into boys?
No, I don't know. Yep.
Good stuff.
Moving on.
What do you got? What do you got, Tommy?
Okay, the bad. The Hollywood studio behind the US film Dallas Buyers Club is no longer pursuing its piracy case against Australians accused of illegally downloading this movie. An Australian court in December has blocked the company from accessing details of customers who illegally download the movie. A deadline to appeal against the court decision lapsed at noon on Thursday. My question, do you guys jump or have you ever jumped on the illegal downloading bandwagon? And if so, how did you or do you justify it?
Mate, the last time I downloaded something illegal or just downloaded was back in the day when we had Kazaa.
Yeah.
Kazaa.
Oh, wow.
Good.
Something like
Kazaa,
that.
that's
Yeah,
old school.
Used to go home from primary school. log
Napster.
into- Yeah, Napster. That's the one I was
That was
thinking
old
of.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the last thing I downloaded.
It's a while, isn't it?
Oh, mate.
I'm all over it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know it's the sad thing is it kind of destroys the industry that we're all trying to get entertainment out of, music or TV. I mean, the only thing that I really download, I've got Netflix and Apple TV and everything set up. I've got entertainment on demand. You know, I listen to Spotify, but if it's a movie that has just come out and it's in between that I can't get anywhere else, that's where I'll download something.
Yep.
Or if there's like Netflix in Australia has a pretty shitty list of stuff. So if there's something that I'm really hanging to see and we want with someone sitting around and we want to watch it, I'll download it. But I'm
Well,
a real jerk.
This might be like a bit of a plug for you boys, but I actually watch much TV and I don't buy many CDs, but I'll tell you what I do download a lot of. Podcasts.
Yes.
Because they're sort of guilt-free because they're like, you're supporting the podcast and they're free.
Most
and
of them are free, yeah.
And they're weekly, a lot of them. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the good ones for music are weekly, so it's like, that's a sweet way.
That's actually, speaking of podcasts, that's all I listen to these days.
Yeah, right.
Like during the day, I'll be listening to Joe Rogan. Anything to do with science, geography, history,
Psychedelics.
sports, psychedelics. Sam Harris, Fighter and the Kid. I've got podcasts playing probably 80% of my waking day.
I would say you're a lot more into it than I am.
I'm a real nerd.
That's
I'm always
right.
that.
Yeah.
But podcasts are sick. But no, I download stuff illegally. I'm not, I know that it's wrong, but
I don't have time to watch movies and shit.
Yeah.
I'll just
I'm in the
literally
same boat,
listen
mate.
to podcasts in the car when I'm traveling. Otherwise,
yeah.
I'm reading a book or I'm out with mates.
Yeah.
Yep.
I try and get a movie. I do try and get a movie, and if I can finish work, I've had a good day if I can finish work by 8:30.
In the morning.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Start at 8. What do you do?
8:30 p.m.
Listen to podcasts.
That's right.
Yeah. If I can finish up by 8:30, and then I try and read for half an hour a day, so I do love reading. I try and get that in. And then, but if I can sit down and relax to like a good doco or a good movie at night at 8:30, and then just know that I'm not getting on my phone, I'm not checking emails, and my laptop's closed and over on the other side of the room, then it does help me relax. So I try and get a movie in every day.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, very good. Alrighty, and the science. Oh, all right. So scientists have found gravitational waves in black holes
Oh, yes. This
that
good.
collided together 1 billion years ago. I think it was 1.3 billion years ago.
1.3.
Yep. You wrote this down, didn't you?
I researched it.
You did,
I knew
didn't
it was
you?
coming, mate.
Yeah.
I've got nothing, though. I've got nothing.
Black hole. The ripple went for 1/10 of a second. I'm just going to bang out facts to you.
Let's hear them.
Gravitational waves are the prediction of the theory of general relativity made public and famous by Einstein. Their existence has been inferred by science, but only now directly detected. There are ripples in the fabric of space and time produced by violent events. Accelerating masses will produce waves that propagate to the speed of light. Detectable sources ought to include merging black holes and neutron stars. Detecting the waves opens up to the universe to completely new investigations. So my question, Einstein's moustache or a meal prepared by Jamie Oliver? Which would you like?
I'll go the meal by Jamie Oliver.
It's a good moustache.
Yeah, it's a good moustache.
I liked his hair.
Jeez, it was good.
Or lack thereof, pretty much.
No, he was like he'd been. I remember he'd been electrocuted.
Yeah,
it's
but he's
good.
bald on top, isn't he?
Yeah, a little bald.
Okay.
Yeah.
like Krusty
Give
the
him a
Clown.
break,
Yeah.
mate.
He can't. He'll never come back. Whoops.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
it
yeah. I
was.
tried to do a little bit of research on this because I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
They said it was the biggest discovery in the last 100 years, was it?
Yeah,
Oh, mate.
century.
They said there's a Nobel Prize in it.
Yeah, it's a shoo-in for the Nobel Prize. The thing that sucks for me, and probably I would say, not having a go at you boys, but probably for everyone in this room, is I fucking don't understand a thing about it.
No, neither do I.
So I understand it.
Okay, go on.
No, neither do I.
I have no idea. I honestly don't get it. Like I was
So-
sitting down for half an hour trying to get it.
Do
you know,
I have
so
no
was I.
idea what it means.
And part of like the intrigue of it all is that like not only did that happen, but there is actually science and people who are intelligent enough to figure this stuff out.
Well,
like that's just as amazing as what happened
That's
that
right.
we can figure this
That's
out.
right.
like,
This
or
is
they
what
can
I
figure
wrote
this out.
down because I knew this was coming, and I just did a little bit of research for myself. I wrote down this quote: "The signal was seen on September 14th last year, and was a result of two black holes that merged around 1.3 billion years ago." I know you mentioned that, but going back on that, that's what I don't understand. How the fuck?
1.3 billion.
Yeah.
Where they plug that from?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Actually,
And no, we can't prove them wrong either. They could have just said whatever.
You know what? I reckon there's a lot of scientists out there that are just making shit up.
Yeah.
No,
the
we got
thing
we got nothing to report this
they're all
week, boys.
being
Twisting them as making
Well,
moustaches.
the 1.3 billion years still gives you a fair bit of wiggle room, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It gives you, what, 300 million that
I
it could
can't
have
even remember
occurred
like
in.
5 years ago.
That's right.
I'm
Yeah,
sure it
yeah.
wasn't 1.2, pal.
But I tell you
Do you know
what.
what though? Sorry,
I-
I to cut you off, mate.
Go for it.
I actually just had a thought about it then, and my understanding of this would be, so the whole reason there is so much mystery behind a black hole is because we can't see beyond the event horizon of a black hole. We have no idea what goes on in there. It happens when a star collapses and implodes in on itself, and that's what a black hole is. It's just this huge thing that absorbs so much shit. And I believe that...
That's a technical term.
Yeah, that's right. I believe so. General relativity was the idea about gravitation, and the thing that they didn't understand, like gravity worked in every single area of the universe, except they were unsure about black holes because no one knows what goes inside a black hole or what happens inside there. And the fact that they've measured gravitational waves proves that his theory was on point. Because basically the idea with the theory, from my understanding, is that either the whole theory of general relativity was didn't make any sense,
Right.
or it had to make sense, therefore gravity had to exist inside a black hole.
And they've proven that it does.
And now they've proven that it does. And I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think the analogy I use with Mac, because I knew this was coming, I think it's a way to study the universe more accurately. So the way that from what I understand, that the way that they found the gravity wave was it's a warping of time and space, but only on an atomic level. So a gravity wave will pass through your body, Ed.
Yep.
Instead of being 6'2" and 3,000 atoms, you'd be 6'2", 2,999 atoms tall.
Right.
So it warps time and space, and being able to see that is akin to being able to look further back into the history of time and space.
You need to stop looking at me like I can approve or disapprove what you're saying, because all I've got is chest up, knees out. You keep looking
All
at
right,
me
let's
like
move on. I reckon we sounded like scientists then.
I think it was all right.
You might have.
Fucking yeah. All right. Get around it.
That was good. Back to CrossFit. So I've got a bunch of stuff that I wanted to discuss with you, Ed.
Sure.
On CrossFit and CrossFit HQ themselves.
Sure. And remember, just so the listeners are clear, remember, I'm just a seminar staff member, so I'm just teaching level 1 course, so just so everyone's clear on that.
For sure.
Yep.
But as far as CrossFit goes in this
Sure.
room, you are the authority.
I can answer some questions.
You
as
are
a
CrossFit.
CrossFitter, yeah. As a
You are
CrossFitter.
Mr. CrossFit.
Look at your dress. You've got the fucking, what are they, nano
Nano
fives,
fives, mate.
and
Beautiful heel. Beautiful heel.
Wouldn't wear anything else.
Well done.
Breathable mesh on the
Yeah.
toe. Oh, it's
It's
$69.99.
Reebok.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to discuss is the level 1. So you teach the level 1, obviously. People can go for a 2-day seminar, and I've done it. I did it twice. I passed the first time, but I wanted to do it a second time because I didn't start coaching for 6 or 9 months afterwards. It was great. I love the course. I think it's fantastic content.
Yep.
The problem I see with it, and that a lot of people see with it, is the problem that some people go out and open a gym with not much more than level 1 who aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. Okay,
Right.
so cowboys can go out and start a gym. I believe without a level 3 and 4 in fitness, that's the Australian equivalent of a personal trainer degree for anyone else that's not listening from Australia. So I see that as a problem. I was hoping that, I'm not involved in CrossFit anymore, but I just thought that the natural progression might be that once CrossFit had flooded the market and had established itself a real stronghold in the fitness community, which it has.
Yep.
This is just a hypothesis that I came up with, but I thought that they might tighten the process, tighten the screws on what it takes to become an affiliate owner, because there's a lot of people out there that are devaluing a brand of a really good brand.
absolutely.
Do you agree?
There's a fair bit of meat to that question. I don't know where to start. Well,
Go with it wherever you like.
okay. First of all, the level 1, the CrossFit level 1 course is really comprehensive. I know it's only a 2-day course, but it's really comprehensive in terms of philosophies that you would need to apply to be an effective trainer, and in terms of basic foundational movements and how you would need to look at them if you want to become a trainer. So let's acknowledge what needs to be acknowledged, which is the level 1 course itself really is a great starting point.
Yep, agreed.
But one of the first things that's said to most of the participants is that it's exactly what it is. It's a starting point, and it wouldn't. I think like it's a fallacy if people think that participants are doing their level 1 with 0 experience in anything, and then on the Monday they're opening up an aircraft hangar and teaching the snatch to 50 people. That is not the progression that is being put forward, and that's not really the progression that anyone's taking.
That's right. I'm not probably going to that length with my example, but I just think that there's a lot of people out there that should be more highly skilled, because at the end of the day, part of the reason that CrossFit gets frowned upon by some people don't choose to do it, is because they hear of injuries, and injuries come from a lack of knowledge and bad coaching, basically.
Yeah. Well, I don't know of any other course that has as much practical content as the level 1 does, in terms of actually being a trainer and actually getting somebody else or observing somebody move and seeing how you can make them move better. So you mentioned the level, cert 3 and 4?
Yep.
Yeah, like I've done that, and I did that entirely on my laptop. I didn't move away from my laptop at any point in time.
I taught the snatch in my level 4.
What? They do Olympic lifting in level 4?
I taught. Yeah, there was an Olympic lifting day, and there was a guy Richie who did the hypertrophy training day, and the next day he was busy. So in the level 3-4, there was a girl that got up there, and she grabbed a broomstick, and she's like, "Okay, guys, so we're gonna go through the snatch today. So you have your hands."
You're not talking about level 4 CrossFit. You're talking about level 4.
Level 4, personal training.
Yep.
It's personal training.
Yep.
She goes, "You're just gonna put your hands outside your hips," and like she's quivering. And I said, "Oh," and I was trying my best not to be a jerk, but I had to pull her up. I'm like, "Oh, your hands should be a little wider. It should be wider. The bar should be." So I started kind of correcting her without trying to be a fuckhead, but she literally had never done Olympic lifting before in her life.
Yep.
What course was this? Let's
Level
name and
seven.
shame.
Cert
The where, like AIF? Fitness.
I'll rag him out. It was
Absolutely.
the
No, absolutely.
who was it? It was FIA Fit Nation.
Yeah, that's fucked.
It's fucked. So what happened was, I've been pulling her up on the snatch. Like I said, I didn't want to do it, but she was saying like dangerous stuff. Olympic lifting's dangerous. You don't want to tell people incorrect information. So I was putting my hand up. "Oh, don't you think maybe you should use hook grip and this and that?" Anyway, she's gone to do the clean and jerk. She stood up, and she goes, "Would you like to teach it? Do you want to get up here and teach it?"
Wow.
And I was like, "Yeah, right, guys, grab your broomsticks. Here we go."
Yeah. So she was teaching the snatch, and then she demoed the clean and jerk.
She taught the snatch like in front of the class, and then we broke out and did some stuff with it, and then like half an hour later we went back and went to do the clean and jerk.
Yeah.
And I went up there and I taught it.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is I agree with you, Ed, that the Cert 3 and 4 is a heap of shit in a lot of cases.
I have a question.
Yep.
How long ago was this? Because I think the
3 years ago?
Cert 3 and 4 I know has changed since CrossFit's come in. They're now starting to teach that stuff. When I did it in 2007. There was just hypertrophy.
Yeah.
There was nothing to do with clean snatches.
I took my 3 or 4 probably 7 or 8 years ago, and I don't think it's particularly bad, but I think one thing that it doesn't offer, in my experience, because I did mine online, I wasn't required to participate. And I think that's really important, because as we all know, as being trainers, or trainers at one point, that it's a practical skill
For sure.
that needs to be put forward.
The Cert 3 and 4 I did actually as well. There was another thing that came up. So they'd have the slides that you'd be going through, and you'd be taking notes and stuff. And they'd put slides up, and they'd go, and the lecturer would go, "Okay, guys, this information was from 1993. It's actually the second line and the third line have since been proven false. So actually," I'm like, "Change your fucking slides." Like, it was pretty rubbish.
And just to rag these people out again, who is this?
Yeah, that's right. We're really
I'm legit. These
taking a
guys
few
should
people
be.
to
It was FIA Fit Nation.
Yeah, don't go. That's fucked.
Any listeners from FIA Fit Nation? Fuck you. No. But that's a bit over the top.
I think that's where I did mine, and I had a relatively good experience. So
Yeah, well,
shut up. If I
up,
Fit
man.
Nation, please don't sue.
Don't
sue me. No, I'm just being
Relatively good experience. You sat by yourself every day.
CrossFit.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Like, here's the deal. I think any of the courses that you do from anybody, provided they are absorbed in the context of where you know you're at as a trainer, then you can use them for good. It's when you potentially put them in the wrong place and or think that they will give you skills which they don't because you need to practice that stuff. That's when it becomes problematic. But that doesn't mean
I would say that's a fair call. Like I don't know if I didn't do FIA Fit Nation. I did Exercise Research Australia or something, and they were teaching people how to become good at health consultations and good gym floor instructors and stuff. And then I went
That's
and did
what my
my
Cert
CrossFit.
3 was.
Yeah.
And then Cert 4 was more nutrition and PT. and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think mine was more kind of like, we're teaching her how to become good at this skill.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't teach us a snatch because I don't think they felt they were required to.
Yeah, that's good. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
If you're not confident teaching it, or if it should
Yeah.
be. But
Like I would ask them, like, go on, Bill.
Tell me. Hey,
What I'm getting at, I'm not going to ask Ed this because I know what he's...
no, that's fine. No, you can ask me. I just wanted to, just so we understand it in the context of the conversation, it isn't simply a matter of just getting your L1 and opening up an affiliate. There is an application process.
Yes.
I couldn't tell you exactly what it is purely.
It's not very thorough.
You have to write a letter, right?
Yeah,
Tell a
there's
story.
some stuff like that. And
It's got to be
look,
like 25 words
Mate,
or more, I think.
if I can open up one, I just said,
Mac passed first go.
yeah.
but the thing
I,
is,
Hey, fine.
look,
I got my translator to translate it for me.
there are certainly there are rejections though. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about that. So
Okay.
you know, it's not. It isn't a free for all. Absolutely.
Look,
Yep.
what I was going to say, because I know I've just my question is, and what I would think would happen is that it would need to be a level 2.
Yeah.
A level 2 certificate. That's what I think the answer is for me, because that's a practical application that you get coached by other coaches of your abilities. And you have to have a certain amount of experience to do the level 2, correct? You have to have, or is it recommended?
It's suggested, that you have a
Suggested,
certain
yeah.
amount of coaching hours
12
before
12
you.
months? Or
Yeah, it doesn't. There's at least 6 months with some coaching hours between level 1 and level 2. It's suggested.
That makes more sense to me. I mean, we've discussed that we don't have to really probably...
But they don't teach anything business. It's you learn it and you can apply it in whatever. You get a lot of freedom. You can apply it any way you want.
That's right.
Look, for a successful affiliate, and we've all been involved in affiliates, I don't think there is a course where you could say, hey, if you don't take this, it won't be good, or if you do take this, it will be good. Because we know that what goes into an affiliate is a super complex thing, and it requires a heap of care. And there is no perfect model, but
it's just the movement stuff that for me,
Yep.
you want to be well versed in movement, and I just think there's some people out there that aren't. And
yeah, there's
that's all.
people
You're
at
always
different
gonna get
runs
that,
for
though.
sure.
What's that?
You're always going to get that.
Yeah, you're right. I suppose there's going to be good and bad in any field.
You look at
and
anyone that's
the
been
bad
open.
will probably not succeed.
You look at any affiliate that's
That's
been
right.
open
That's
for
exactly
a
right.
couple of years, and they've totally changed their model. And they've just grown and adapted, and they probably
Yep.
started off with 10, 15, 20, 30 clients, and they've really basic, and then as they've grown to 100 members plus, they've got interns, they change their programming a bit, and they grow and develop. And I think if you're smart, once you come out of level 1, you can only teach basic stuff.
And that's exactly what's suggested. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, come out of level 1, go grab your neighbour one-on-one and teach them how to air squat. That's the first thing you should do.
Cool. I had a bunch of stuff. So this is the... You want to get in on this?
Should we do the Crete first, or should we get onto it now?
Yes. Yeah, what do you got, Tommy? You got something else lined up for us?
Oh, it's pretty bin. But, yeah, I've got something for you.
What was the process of hiring him?
He forced himself. Upon us.
I did. I needed a mate. So this story comes from Ashley Cooper, who's a long-time listener of the show. God. Up to the Book of Creve.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, mate. The Book of Creve. All right, good. So this is just a creepy story to give you the background of what the Book of Creep is, Eduardos. After going 90 miles a minute all week long, my boyfriend and I wanted to stay home and relax. What better way than to watch movies? So we get the air mattress out and set it up in front of the TV in the middle of the living room, which I might add is all open, has vaulted ceilings, connects to the dining room and the kitchen, then the door to their parents' room. And you can see the stairs leading upstairs to more bedrooms in the loft that walks into the music room. We decided we wanted popcorn and a few other snacks and drinks. Once we were finished, we started flipping through the channels. Both of us were feeling a few scary movies when we came across Paranormal Activity 2. Now, if you have read my previous stories, which we all haven't, you know damn well I hate those movies and have not been capable of sleeping in my own room, still to this day. But thinking since we are at his house, I felt safe. We can watch the movie. But lucky me, I fell asleep halfway through the movie, considering the ending scared me the most. Hours pass. When I wake up to the TV blaring, of course, scaring me half to death and not wanting his dad to wake up mad, I jumped up real quick and shut the TV off. I laid back down and a few minutes had passed when I started hearing the sound of chairs being scooted across the floor. My boyfriend, this is genuine by the way, my boyfriend was...
Having a friend of mine.
Yeah, that's right. My boyfriend was to the back and his dog. Didn't make
English, bro.
I'm sorry. Dixie, the
You got
dog's
that
name.
translator still?
Yeah, Dixie, the dog's name, was snuggled up next to me. I tried to think back. Was someone else up? What day was it? Does his parents have to work? Is it one of his brothers? As I lay there, Dixie started to growl, and this is when I started to panic. I continued to lay there motionless until her hair on the back of her head started to stand, and the noise only 10 steps away became louder and more prominent.
Wind it up, Tommy.
Yeah, they all died.
Oh boy.
Dixie gets in a defensive stance and starts to bark with her snarls. Now, by this time, I start mule kicking my boyfriend, trying to wake him up. I guess between me kicking and Dixie barking, he finally wakes up startled and realizes Dixie's tone. He flies up and turns the light on. No one was there.
Are you serious? Oh boy.
All right, this is your last show.
That's right. But apparently, all the stuff in the other room was scattered around the kitchen. Coincidence?
All right, I think it's clear what's going on there.
Yeah. Ghost.
Fuck all. That was good, Tommy.
No, don't pump him up. That was shit. That was horrible.
If this is half time, you're on track.
What about
Three
Tommy
votes.
goes, hey,
Three
Matt, do
votes.
you remember during the week Tommy goes, I think I'm going to change Booker Creep to real short, real sharp.
Wasn't that last week?
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
That was the club mix.
I panicked. I got really nervous.
Nah, I loved it. Good stuff. Yeah, so we wanted to dig into a little bit of bit more of the CrossFit stuff.
Sure.
And yeah, I had a problem with some. It's getting hot real quick.
It's getting hot and
Yeah,
cold.
put the aircon on.
Yeah, put the aircon on.
I'll put it at
Jesus.
23. 23 is a good number.
22?
23, mate.
Nah, can we put on 22?
Michael Jordan.
Well, no, it's just it's an even number.
Yeah, some people
Gwen.
like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. No,
Gwen
fuck it.
Manton.
Nah, don't.
He's stuffed up his
Don't
last
freak
thing.
I'll freak out, mate. I'll get antsy. I'll give you another book of crepe.
No, I'll give him 22.
Thanks, pal.
I know you. If you're over here next time, you can fuck it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on. So the CrossFit Games in the Open a couple of years ago, they decided to move the goalposts mid Open. They've done it a number of times.
Okay.
And I think it just takes away from the legitimacy of the sport.
Okay.
If a rule's in place, CrossFit's very young, so
Yeah, it
they,
is young.
obviously.
What do you mean by move the goalpost?
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me this.
Yeah, for sure.
specific
So-
incident
Where
there.
CrossFit is not AFL place.
So there was a workout last year, I believe, that ended with a max clean and jerk,
Uh-huh.
and people
Workout
were
one.
taking what's that?
15.1.
Yep. So it was a workout, 5-minute break, and then max clean and jerk.
Yep.
And after some weightlifters started joining affiliates and exploiting a loophole or exploiting the rules as they were written, CrossFit went back and changed the rules and announced that you have to have given CrossFit you have to have given 15.1 a serious going over to have your scores of 15.1
A.
B or A. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, you're right.
A validated, which if people had have known that 2 weeks prior, people would have been able to do that. They were exploiting a loophole, but if you're going to write rules, you've got to stick to the rules. And
Yeah.
there's been a number of instances that this has happened.
Look, I remember the incident, and I remember sort of the controversy, if you will, that ensued. I mean, I think, like you said, CrossFit is a very young sport, and we're dealing with a sport, especially with the CrossFit Open, that has a lot of complexity to it, just in terms of how many variables there are. It's difficult to manage. I think it is understandable that there will be situations where they're in the grey, if you will, with a new sport with that many variables.
I do agree there. Yeah,
And I just think the powers that be have to take each thing as it comes, and we can't necessarily expect them to dream up of every possible scenario that could take place during a workout. I really agree with their decision with what they did there, because I think we all would agree as CrossFitters the intent of that workout was
I'm not
what can you clean and jerk after you hit that first
for
piece
sure.
as hard as you can.
Sure.
And does it delegitimize the sport? I don't think so. I think when circumstances change, you change your mind with them.
Not as a whole, because you get these weightlifters coming in chasing some coin. They don't give a shit whether they what impact they have on the sport. They just want to come in and win some money.
Yeah, I mean, there's really great and pretty strict rules now about what you would need to do to qualify for a team. So what I do like is that you can see the rules are being updated each year in relation to any issues that might have taken place last year.
That's cool, for sure.
And I think after seeing that issue once, I can almost guarantee you won't see that issue again.
I agree, and I think that's the right way to go. It's a young sport, so you have to still evolve, and you have to figure out what you need to put in place.
Yep.
And constantly varied.
Yep.
means you're going to constantly come up with new problems that you weren't
Yeah,
aware
exactly.
of.
Yep.
So I'm with all that. I just remember the Joel Bowden thing a couple of years ago with the Richmond Footy Club.
Yeah.
So for the listeners, there was a controversial play in the AFL. It was a controversial play that the next year got changed.
It shaped the rules.
Shaped the rules. The next year it got a rule got put in place that took away from this controversial play. It's not worth me describing to the listeners, I don't think.
Yeah,
but
I understand what you're saying.
The thing is, the AFL didn't say halfway through the game, "Hey Joel, you can't do that." Take that back. That's the problem I had with it.
Yep.
I do agree that it's a pretty fucking hard job starting a new sport. So
and look, the AFL did change the rules on that one in the end, and like just like we discussed, the intent of the CrossFit workout was that you hit the Metcon as hard as you can, then try and do a max lift. The intent of the rush behind rule, which is the one that was changed, is that it comes off hands. It's a point. The intent was never you could use it as a time waster by just handballing the ball across the line.
Why not exploit the rules to, as Tim Ferriss said in his 4-hour work week or something like that.
Yep.
When he was younger, forgive me if the story's wrong. It was
No.
judo or something like that, and he knew that he could exploit the rules on a technicality to
Yep.
win.
And I think
so why
he became a world national champion. I think.
he did something special.
And that's why I think that for the people who were doing what we're talking about, which is not really sandbagging 15.1 and then doing a massive clean jerk at 15.1A, I don't hold that against them. But what they do need to do is once the powers that be step in and say, "Hey, that's not on," then they react to it, and we all go home happy. They tried to exploit the rules. Powers that be tell them you shouldn't do that, and then that's the end of the scenario.
It just should have been waited. It should have been brought in after.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, maybe we might have to disagree. we might have to disagree.
We
on
got
that
him.
one.
Oh, I
We might have to disagree on that
Actually,
one.
thought we had him there.
Yeah, might have to disagree on that one.
Yeah, sweet.
Get out.
I got one more question. You got anything, Mac, on this kind of line of thoughts?
I could.
Yeah, go for it. They're
get
good
him,
discussions
hit him
to
up.
have, boys.
No, I'm saying I could. I don't know. I'm not saying I do.
Oh, right.
I could, but I've got nothing now.
Okay, so this is the last one. I've discussed this with you, Ed, and I don't know what I'm going to get out of you with this one because we discussed this in the confines of our working environment, probably 50 metres away from any human being, and you were whispering your canned answer to me. So
Really?
Yeah.
We got you now, mate.
All right. So the situation. This is a very serious topic, though. Might add. So I had a really big problem. I stopped coaching CrossFit 9 to 12 months ago. This incident happened 12 to 15 months ago, maybe something like that. It was an incident where CrossFit HQ went on their Instagram and posted a photo of a bear. So it's the bear photo incident. So it was a big brown bear that had been skinned, and hung up as an ornament, and that's fine. I'm not into hunting. I don't particularly like killing animals. You want to go and do that? That's fine. I have no problem if that's something that you get kicks out of, whatever. But CrossFit put it up there. It's got nothing to do with CrossFit, and it was going to take a lot of heat and a lot of vitriol from people.
Yep.
And they knew that. So I think that was a bad move. But again, I'm not, whatever,
Yeah, right.
kind of do what you want. The thing that happened after that was there was a reply, a lot of comments that came through from all the followers that said, this has got nothing to do with CrossFit. How can you put this up? There's a lot of people that are against this kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. So getting a lot of people up in arms. And what happened was CrossFit HQ replied to all these people with puns. With, I think one was, bear with us while we take this photo down.
Right. It's pretty funny.
It's impossible to disagree with you. Like, kind of funny if you're a fucking idiot. But seriously, and a bunch more bear puns to the listeners.
Yeah, I remember the incident. Yep.
To their followers, and there's a lot of people. Mac, you're one of them that have your whole livelihood is built around the name CrossFit. Basically, not everything. You got investments. You got other things that you're gonna do. So that's not exactly the case. But you know where I'm.
But my main business is CrossFit, and I get fucking pissed off that CrossFit do a lot of damage to CrossFit.
You pay for that name.
Exactly, and I sometimes hate CrossFit HQ, and I hate you, Ed.
I'm not feeling safe in this apartment anymore.
They don't do a lot to, or they do some good things, of course, but they do a lot to, make it hard for us.
Okay.
I don't know what you have to say about it, Ed. I just it's not an isolated incident. I won't go on about it, but there was an incident as well where there was a dead alligator getting overhead squatted. Same thing, big kick up, big fuss from all the followers. People didn't like it.
Yep.
So CrossFit's reply to that was to post their next 2 photos on their Instagram were someone wrestling an alligator and someone with an alligator skin fucking coat on or something. Like that's it's not an isolated incident. And I just think it's silly.
Look, well, first of all, I got a lot of respect from where Mac's coming as an affiliate owner. Like that's a place I can understand his passion on this one. Look, first of all, what I'll say is pretty much everything CrossFit HQ does is for the good of the affiliates. Things like the CrossFit Games, the regionals, the Open, the CrossFit Tour, the daily programming, all the content in the journal. That is free access for the affiliates, and they get to use that, and that brings people into their gyms.
They do a fantastic job of that.
Yep. So all that stuff is like a lot of that stuff. The affiliates almost at times don't need to worry about marketing certain stuff because HQ is just pumping out such great content like that. But the cool thing about the affiliate model is that it isn't a franchise. So, if McDonald's HQ says, we're selling this burger, it's like you're selling that burger tomorrow if you're a McDonald's owner. The thing about being an affiliate owner is that you can teach the squat how you want to teach the squat. You can run classes how you want to run classes. You can buy the equipment you want to buy. You can program what you want to program. And on issues like that one, you can buy into it or you can stay clear of it. And I've got to be honest, I was involved at CrossFit Richmond at the time. Mm-hmm. I do not believe that the affiliate was negatively affected by the picture of a bear on CrossFit.com the previous day.
Do you think more, though, that it's more of a bad representation of CrossFit for maybe people that are on the cusp of joining an affiliate or something, though? Maybe people that aren't sure and they see something like that and go, oh, if this is what they're about.
Don't think you're going to say fired. You're going to get fired if you say...
No, but I just don't. I just don't. No, I don't.
Yeah, I disagree. I looked at it from the side of... because what happened was Rob Forte, he came out and made a big statement about it. He said, this is atrocious. My brand, my business, my life is built around the name CrossFit that I pay $3,000 a year for. And then a big shit fight kind of started between Rob and I think one of the Russes.
I believe it was Russell Berger.
Yes.
I think he posted. I'm not 100% sure on that. But
I'm pretty sure
Is he some dude?
He just works for CrossFit. I think he manages the Instagram.
Right.
Possibly. I know that there was him and Rob that were going back and forth.
Yeah.
And in this post, there was hundreds and hundreds of affiliate owners that were of the same opinion. I just think there's no publicity, no such thing as bad publicity is a saying for a reason. So I know why CrossFit would do this.
Yep.
I just don't think it's good for the overall... I disagree. I was interested to hear Mac's thoughts on it because I don't think it's good for the growth of CrossFit. And CrossFit has some sort of a stigma, whether you agree or not, with a lot of people that don't, for some reason or another, don't like CrossFit. And it's a fucking great thing. It's a great thing. It saves people's lives. It builds friendship and huge communities of friends in an instant. I moved to the city and I started working at CrossFit affiliate. I had hundreds of friends. Yep. There's amazing things that it does. And I think it should do its best to keep that momentum going.
I mean, CrossFit HQ sinks its teeth into some issues, and I think there was we talked about the female body image before. Yep. I guess the hunting one might be. I haven't seen a heap of that since that, but the one right now is the campaign against Big Soda, and I got to say I sort of like that sort of.
That's good stuff.
Exactly,
that Big Soda thing's good. That's definitely.
Yeah, and I think that's like I said, the affiliate model allows yourself to associate yourself with that stuff when you want to, and then pull back where you want to as well. So I think, I really feel, and I think the stats would suggest this, because participation in the Open, the amount of affiliates around the world, the growth of the affiliates, it would suggest that stuff actually isn't negatively affecting the growth of CrossFit. You might not like it, you might not agree with it, but it actually isn't negatively affecting the growth of CrossFit. It isn't the picture of a bear or an alligator getting an overhead squat. That is not stopping people walking into your gym.
I respectfully disagree. But that's cool.
That's cool.
All right. What do we... You wanna get 9 from 9? What are we doing?
Yeah. Let's do 9 from 9.
We're 9 from 9 is 9 from 9 is 3 questions from Mac, 3 questions from myself, 3 questions from Tommy.
Like quiz questions
Yeah,
or
mate.
personal
Just general shooting.
You need to buckle up because we go
Oh,
fast.
jeez. Okay.
Very personal.
You normally start us off, Dan.
I can start us off. Does you know you have 60 seconds
Yeah,
per
60
answer?
seconds.
Oh, to get
So
9?
we don't have a clock going, but you got 60 seconds. Sure, we just want a nice answer.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
What's your morning ritual?
Get up and eat 4 poached eggs. 4 boiled eggs.
You've got a minute, Ed.
No. Honestly, that's not it. That's
You
it.
got 60, you got 45 more seconds.
Do you boil them the night before?
No.
So you just get up, boil your eggs, you don't dress, you don't do anything.
That is bizarre.
Boils his eggs in the nude, no shower.
I sleep dressed.
Okay.
Sleeps in his CrossFit gear.
Do you meditate?
No.
Fuck, you're
I
good.
wish I did.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah,
I've started it, and it's one of the best things.
Yeah.
I was very
Yeah.
against spirituality. Tommy's big man on it.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Yep. I like it in theory. It just hasn't worked for me yet.
Yeah.
I'm big on it. And going back to your probably last date in year 8, I was going to say, what's your best date you've ever been on, or what's the best date idea you have that you could potentially do next time?
Valentine's Day tomorrow for the... Oh, fuck, this isn't going to come out before then.
Jeez. I have not done a good date for a while. I've got nothing.
No, well then,
honestly.
what's your idea? I'm a sexy man or woman, whatever you go for.
I just do the classic dinner and drinks when I can. Honestly, I'm pretty-
Tell us something romantic, Ed. Give us something. What's your coolest move you're throwing in?
Do you have a move?
Nup. I don't.
No,
Seriously, I've got nothing. I've got
Mate, you're really inspiring to date you.
They were hard questions.
Celibacy.
Okay.
We've all been there.
Can we make a salad? Okay, sorry about that.
Nah, you're right, mate.
Yep.
So,
Deal.
I've got 3 for you. So, are you a well-travelled man? I actually don't know this about you.
Yep.
Yep.
Well enough. Yep.
Yep. What's your favourite place you've ever been? It can be a city, can be a country, can be a small town, can be anywhere. Where's your favourite place?
New York.
New York.
Yep.
Why so?
I think it was just we were there in Christmas. I was there with my family, and I'd never experienced a city of that magnitude at the time.
Did you get a white Christmas?
No, we didn't really. We got a bit of snow, but not a white Christmas. Yeah. So it just blew me away, and I wasn't very well travelled when I did it.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
have been
It was incredible for me.
epic, I could imagine.
Yep.
Same train of thought. If you had anywhere that you could go in the world, or your number one destination you want to go to, where would that be? Dream destination.
I'd love to see Africa. Yep, I just feel I know nothing about it. I look at an African map and there's countries that I haven't even recognised, and I just sort of feel like I've sort of touched base with the rest of the world at times, but Africa I'm completely and utterly unaware of. So I feel like I have to go do that at some stage.
Break your teeth in it at South Africa and Zimbabwe. That's all I've done of Africa.
Right.
And South Africa is my favourite country in the world.
Cool.
It's fucking incredible.
Yep.
Padded lions, dove with sharks, climb Table Mountain, world-class surf, nightlife. It's great.
Yep.
Great.
Do you know I'm still thinking about my best date? I'm still trying to think about
Have you been on a date?
Mate, I'm free tonight. If you
Is Tinder alive over in the Republic?
I wouldn't know, mate.
Bullshit. And the last question that I have is, you're on a deserted island. What are your 3 things that keep you sane over there, or 3 things you take with you?
Do I have to think about like essentials, or am I just thinking about things that
Like
entertain me?
stuff, essentials. You've got food, you've got a toothbrush. What else do you want?
AFL football?
You want a TV with footy playing?
Huh? No.
Oh,
No.
and
actual,
AFL
actual football.
Okay.
An AFL, a TV with AFL football player.
Just the one, General.
And a barbell with some weights.
What are you going to do with the football? Just kicking yourself on the beach?
Yeah, 2 goalposts.
A barbell.
Seriously, I went down and had a kick a few months ago when I was here, and I was down there for about 50 minutes. Every set shot 5 points down. The siren's gone.
Yeah, just
and he's kicked a point.
And
Then you started drawn game.
We're going to extra time. Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
That's me, Tommy.
Chess or snakes and ladders?
Chess.
Yeah,
Okay.
good answer.
I agree. What do you do when you've got some downtime?
Wank.
Music.
Apart from the obvious.
Music.
Yep.
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 Definitely podcasts and exploring music that I haven't listened to.
Yep.
Yep.
What? Ooh, sorry. You
Go ahead. I was just going to say, like, I really, really like electronic music, and I like all the different genres, and I pretty much just, like, let it take me where it takes me, and listen to podcasts, and then someone... No, listen to podcasts, and then, like, see another podcast, and they're, like, doing some genre I've never heard of, and I just,
What podcast, sorry, buddy, what podcast do you listen to?
Adjuna?
Yeah, I listen to Anjuna Deep a lot, which is like sort of progressive house. I do still listen to Group Therapy, which is above and beyond, but it was better when it was Trance Around the World.
These are podcasts?
These are podcasts.
Music podcasts?
Yeah, I listen to JTech's podcast. Right. I would listen to a lot. I download 4 or 5 a week regularly, and then others just as they go.
They like a radio show, like with music involved? Or they just music?
It's just 2 hours of music, and the people come over and talk about
it. People just record their sets and
really?
stuff.
Yeah,
I've never actually seen that or heard that.
First time you got me on it was Eric Prids did, I think, Adjuna Deep. I think, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I think I got you onto Clapcast.
Yeah. I listen to Clapcast.
So 1-1. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, so music for sure.
Cool. And finally, favourite Harry Potter character?
I think it has to be Ron Weasley.
Gotta stick up for the boys.
Which was the favourite movie that you enjoyed acting in? Fourth.
No, Ron Weasley. Isn't there a new Harry Potter book coming out? Is that true? Is that bullshit?
I think I saw it, and I saw it floating around on Unilad and all those sharing things on Facebook.
You don't know what's true anymore, do you?
No.
Like, things can get massive, and you're like, is this real?
Yeah.
And then until it's actually there.
But
you don't know if it's real.
Rowling, whatever her name is, J. Rowling?
JK.
Rowling. She wrote it, but it's a script of some sort that's not a written novel.
Is it something where the lead protagonist is not Harry Potter?
No, it's not a movie.
Huh?
It's it's not a book. It's a script.
I've heard about this.
I don't understand. She went out and clarified that hold your horses, gang. Because the world exploded. All the Harry Potter nerds were jizzing in their pants.
I'll be honest. It sounds dangerous to me. Like, I'm not a Harry Potter man. But if you were to compare Star Wars, that sounds like Episode 1 to me. And Episode 1 was piggish.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It was big.
Yes, that was.
Yep.
Well, that's 9 from 9.
I've got a fourth one that I really want to
get it in there, son.
If there were 3 people dead or alive that you can invite to dinner, who would they be and why?
Dead or alive?
You asked that last time.
I did, but it's a great question.
How come? Did you add one or take one?
No, just I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I remember that from last week.
Yeah,
I like it.
And they can be dead when they're at dinner with you. Depends what you're into.
Well, one of them's a no-brainer for me. I hope I don't too much.
I know exactly where this is going.
Michael Jackson.
Oh. I was sure you were going to say Chris Judd.
Chris Judd. Yeah, Chris Judd would be in there. Michael Jackson, Chris Judd. And then I think I'd need a politician that I admire. Or somebody like that of that ilk. No, not Ruddy. Not Ruddy.
Julia.
I actually got a lot of respect for Hillary Clinton, and I'm reading her. I've just started. In fact, haven't started. Purchased her autobiography. So
I'm learning to read still.
Yeah, I'm taking a bit of an interest in that. So I would probably invite her because I think,
she's hot.
What do you get right into politics? Do you? Or?
I've got a social conscience. I wouldn't say I'm right into politics, but right now, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm genuinely concerned about the future of the world based on the American election.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously, you want Hillary Clinton to win the election.
I do. I think anything else would be an absolute disaster.
And what are her politics? I'm not versed in politics whatsoever when it comes to the American politics, but you want to elaborate on that?
Look,
I'm sure people find it interesting.
Look, honestly, it's I think policies these days, particularly in American politics, not much gets through. It's like they genuinely don't do a heap now, especially when the two houses can't get much through because they're so divided, and should be a Democratic president with a Republican Congress. So for that reason, I just feel like she'd be a relatively reasonable peacekeeper and like a transactional president. I feel like any of the others would be aggressive towards trying to make change that wouldn't work. So it's not necessarily that I feel inspired by her, but I genuinely feel like the 3 Republican candidates and Bernie Sanders are too idealistic and legitimately dangerous. I feel like I genuinely feel like Trump could say or do something that would put
us in Australia into World War III.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's an exaggeration.
Well, you're probably right there. There's a lot of there's a lot of things wrong with the world, and Donald Trump is somewhat of an idiot.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
It's a bit of a somber note to end on.
I know.
Sorry about that, guys.
You got any jokes, Tommy?
Yeah, I've got a joke. What did the Mexican fireman call his 2 sons? Jose and Jose B.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll finish it there.
All right. So before we finish, though, you got anything? You got anything you want to plug?
I actually mentioned that I wanted to just say something about this. So I do work for Jason Kalipa, and his daughter Ava's just been diagnosed with leukemia. And he's very big on everyone sending like their best wishes. He really believes that like people praying, and I don't think he's religious, but just praying and thinking is really going to... Yeah, so if anyone wants to send good vibes. On a practical note, I think what's shocked him and everyone who is close to him is just how much blood is required when somebody has leukemia. So I guess this is just a nice chance to say if you don't donate blood, give it some thought, because there's a lot of blood required to get someone through that, and it's a pretty simple thing to do.
Cool. Absolutely. And is there anywhere we've got where can they find you? You got nothing you want to give to people, or you want to stay pretty reclusive? Keep yourself.
I don't want to stay reclusive or anything, but I just don't really. I have an Instagram.
What is it?
E Morrison 1989.
Ooh.
You thought it was going to be something like Sex King. You thought it was going to be something real dodgy.
That's your eHarmony handle.
E Morrison 1989. The content is not particularly great. But,
You'll probably get like 6 or 7 followers from this.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, sweet.
That's where we're at.
Well,
thank you, boys.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Thanks, Ed.
thanks for coming, Ed.
Yeah, except for you, Tommy.
I'm going to boot.
All right. Cheers.
All right, that's a wrap. So that's it for our first show, guys. Hope you liked it. If you want to subscribe to our show, make sure you click the big red button on iTunes. That means from now on you'll get all of our updates for every show going forward. Also, if you want any show notes from today, any links, anything that was mentioned, any topics that we covered, the show notes will be found at www.adventurefittravel.com/podcast. Another way to get the show notes is also to go to www.adventurefittravel.com/podcast and join our mailing list. Once you're on our mailing list, guys, you'll receive all the show notes for all the shows, all the updates, all of our blogs from our AdventureFit bloggers, and you'll also get a $250 AdventureFit Travel gift voucher, which is great. So that's that, and we'd just like to also thank all of our sponsors that sponsored this show. As always, we wouldn't be able to put the show together without those guys. So that's Atlanta Orchards with their Kanzi and Green Star apples. Shop Atlanta, Kanzi, and Green Star in your local greengrocers, Victoria-wide, if you're living in Victoria, Australia. Loxam Solutions, a boutique consulting and business support company focused on business consulting and commercial services, thanks to Loxam. No Days Off Supplements, a newly formed company that aspires to build a trusted brand with their clients. NDO Sups for all your supplement needs. Use AdventureFit Radio at checkout for 10% off. And also AdventureFit Travel. Join us on a trip, guys. You will not regret it. That's it from us. See you guys next week.
Discovery Roger, go for deploy.